Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we talk about all the celebrity news, gossip, you name it, we talk about it here on this damn show. So, we do got a lot of topics to get to, so we're going to talk about the Grammys, of course, because I wasn't on yesterday, so I didn't get to say my piece on the whole Grammy situation. Plus, we're going to talk about Jay-Z and feeling like Beyonce was snubbed. We're going to talk about that. Plus, there was somebody that said something that actually made a whole lot of sense that I noticed a lot of people didn't bring up in regards to the whole situation with the Grammy thing. Also, Drake has something to say about the Grammys, but of course, the reason why I see a lot of eyes is in this damn show today is because Drake's penis picture, well, video has leaked all over the internet. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, The View had stuff to say about the Grammy situation. So we're gonna talk about that because they try to, well, one person tried to assert Taylor Swift in the conversation. Taylor ain't had nothing to do with it, but we're gonna talk about it. Plus, Jacob Elordi is under investigation for allegedly assaulting a radio producer, and Shannen Doherty is speaking out against, she and Alyssa seem to be going back and forth with all the drama that's happening with Charmed and all that other good stuff. So before we get started on this show, do yourselves a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification button, so that way you will know when we go live on this here show. I'm just trying to, I don't know, something's going on with the internet today. It looks like my internet is on a delay. I did refresh it. But we live, so we just gonna have to do what we got, and hopefully I can contact StreamYard afterwards and they could work out whatever the hell is going on with this freaking show. But like I said, do yourselves a favor and hit that like button, that notification button, and that subscribe button so that way you know when we go live with brand new episodes of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so also, before we get started, I want to say thank you everybody who's tuning in right now on these topics. And this is a live show, a live interactive show. So I do like it when everybody jumps in and leaves comments on a couple of the topics. But before we get to the juicy stuff, I gotta we also gonna talk about Kandi Burruss quitting the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we're gonna bring that up too. But before we get to the juicy story, the creme de la creme, I do like to edge y'all off a little bit with a couple of smaller topics. So, this Blade movie that's supposed to be coming out, who knows when it's supposed to come out? It's supposed to come out 5 years ago, whatever the case is. So we have a little update. So, but I say let's take it with a grain of salt because this someone who was on the inside had leaked this information. But until we see an actual script and stuff that's going on, and unless the majors say it, we'll just entertain it. So Daniel RPK, who was an insider, basically had said that he had heard that the MCU movie will feature. Well, I heard Mia Goth was cast as Lilith, that she's going to be the villain of the movie. And I do like Mia Goth because I love horror movies, and she's kind of been stepping it up as a scream queen in a lot of the stuff that she's done. Like I like all the X movies. I'm looking forward to Maxine. I'm definitely thought that she was a good choice to play a villain to go up against Blade, especially because she kind of gives me that bit of intensity that she could take a character like that on in a MCU film. But anyway, so they're saying that basically the story is going to be Lilith attempting to kidnap Blade's daughter to create an army of immortal Daywalkers. Lilith is also rumored to wield the Ebony Blade, despite Kit Harington's Dane Whitman, who was in the Eternals movie, and he comes back as he becomes Black Knight down the road, and he has the same weapon. But they're saying that he's not involved with the movie. So I don't know what's going to be happening with him. My thing with this is I do like the idea. I'm just hoping that they can figure out how they're going to incorporate supernatural stuff, vampirism, all that into the MCU because they haven't really established that yet, in my opinion. So I'm actually hoping that they could figure out how to make all that work. Now, in regards to the whole thing where they're talking about Blade's daughter, Brielle Brooks, I know because we had the previous Wesley Snipes films and she was never really introduced into that world. How are they going to make that work? Well, they're going to have to establish a whole lot of things. They're going to have to try to make us understand what's going on with the whole vampire universe, how to incorporate all that into the franchise, and how that works within the MCU. Because Phase 4, you already know, if y'all watching the show enough, y'all already know how I feel about um the MCU and how they've been going so far with a lot of their stuff. I've been a little disappointed with a lot of the movies. There's been a couple of exceptions. I did love Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They wrapped that up perfectly, and there were certain things here and there. But the majority of the films that came under the MCU were a disappointment, in my opinion. And I kind of liked Eternals, but I really didn't because I felt like that movie was too long and it took forever to get going. and I have not visited that movie since. So the idea of Blade's daughter being brought in there, I think it would be relatively interesting, because I know people were like, well, why didn't they go after Blade then? Because he's a daywalker. Well, because I feel like when you add the kid, the stakes are a lot higher, especially when you have someone who is killing people, well, demons and vampires and stuff for a living. Um, the fact that a kid is involved, I do feel like it brings the stakes up a bit higher. So that makes it more interesting for Blade to kind of have this relationship with his kid. Now, I do wonder at times too, y'all bringing the kid in here because y'all trying to make this like some potential spin-off situation where it's like a pass the torch type situation. Kind of like, when Wolverine had his daughter and all that other stuff, and then how he was trying to help her out and stuff, or how they always do that in movies. So it kind of made me wonder that, but I'm like, can we establish Blade first before y'all be so quick to run off and give somebody else a platform? So, excuse me. I do have a nasty cold, forgive me, that I'm still trying to get over. But yeah, but you already know, there's been a lot of delays. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Mahershala Ali's been going back and forth, not liking where the script is going. Hopefully, they have this thing under control. Um, there's been so much behind the scenes mess that's going on, but can we finally get this damn movie up and running? Mahershala Ali is like 50 years old. He ain't getting any younger. I mean, yeah, y'all can throw in a stunt double to do all the crazy stuff, but at this point, you don't want him being 65 years old and only got 2 movies under his belt. So I'm actually looking forward to this Blade movie, and hopefully they get it together. But because I like vampire movies, I love vampire superhero movies. Blade is like one of my favorite characters, especially because I felt like he is, and I don't feel like that franchise gets enough credit. We don't count the third one, but I don't feel like that franchise gets enough credit because Blade walked so we can get X-Men and all those other franchises. So I feel like we need to give Blade his props, especially Wesley Snipes and all that what he's done. But I am curious and hoping and praying that the MCU can get their shit together and get this franchise on track. Okay, so before I move on to the next topics, I do see that we have some comments. Oh, excuse me. It said, "Did you get the tea on Trump being denied his appeal and he has no immunity?" Which, first of all, he's not. Leave that. Look, I won't be excited until his ass go to jail. We need Trump in jail. I'm sick of the fact that so many people have been doing the same thing that Trump has been getting away with for the past couple of years, and he's still walking. That's just the irritation for me. So, of course, he's going to be denied his appeal. Now, if this can turn into a situation where he cannot run for president, then I will be even more grateful. As far as Nimrata goes, I don't think she'll win either because I can't go back. I do got some. I don't know if Nimrata get on my damn nerve. I'm not calling her Nikki Haley no more because she be trying to assimilate herself like she a white woman, but you a whole Indian who want to sit up here and act like racism didn't exist, but you wholeheartedly benefited off of Black culture, especially when your family came to America. And I didn't even know this. Her family came to America, and it was a whole immigration type situation where she couldn't even sell to white people, so her family went and was selling things to Black folk. I forget exactly what it was, but her family had started like a little business or whatever, and I think it was clothes or whatever. So they were selling to the Black. It's funny how you want to try to act like slavery didn't exist. Black people just out here make all kinds of stink about a bunch of nothing, but y'all be the main ones running to the Black folks when y'all want people to buy y'all shit. That's the cackle for me. And then the fact that she was governor of the state that she was in, and denied the whole thing about the Confederate flag and a whole bunch of, so she just be back flip flopping. My thing with her is I just really wish she would really set into who she is as a politician and go after those people, the independents and maybe some Democrats or whatever, and really have something to say politically rather than trying to run after the MAGA crowd. The MAGA crowd is already locked. You already know who the cult is voting for. They're not voting for anybody else. They don't give a damn about nobody else. So I don't know why she wants to sit up here and try to go after the MAGA crowd when the MAGA crowd is already with Trump. They're not voting for anybody else. They want to keep the racism going in America. So until she learn that shit, she gonna be floundering out here like a fish out of water. So Sailor Mermaid's in the building. And we have Cheryl Jason. I concur. Well, that is funny though. I'm still cackling over the whole Trump being denied his appeal. I didn't hear that though because I've been so busy getting stuff for the show, particularly that video floating around about Drake and his penis. We're gonna talk about that because I do see a lot of eyes in the room today because I put it in the headline. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That is coming up. But once we get all this Grammy stuff out of the way, anybody know that Charlemagne is turning into an Uncle? Child, don't even get me started on Charlemagne and the fact of how uneducated he is when it comes to politics. This is why if y'all gonna be doing these shows like the Breakfast Club and stuff, and y'all are being influential within the culture, y'all need to bring people on these shows that actually speak the language and understand how to articulate stuff that has to do with politics. Because Charlemagne is an idiot, doesn't really know what he's talking about, and don't even get me started on DJ Envy's brain dead ass. And you already know. Look, um, don't expect any kind of intelligence about politics to come from that new girl they just hired. So, um, if they're gonna talk politics, you should have had somebody on it, or he could have pushed back more. So I just didn't understand why he didn't push back on her after the stuff she said and talking about how racism didn't really start in this country until Obama became president. No, white ass racists show their true damn colors when Obama became president. And then you had Mr. Marblemouth, what the hell is his name? Mitch McConnell and the rest of them fools that was, anytime Obama tried to get something, pushed, any kind of legislation, he made sure to stand in his goddamn way. Mind you, Kentucky's still falling down the wayside. So, and then it's funny that MAGAs think Taylor Swift is going to influence. I mean, here's the thing about that. When you're saying that she does have influence over, not, I wouldn't say the election, but she has influence over getting a lot of her fans to sign up and vote. Because they said that with the last term with her, is that she was able to get a lot of her fans to go out and register to vote. So Taylor is very influential in regards of how she can get her fan base riled up and interested in politics. So that's where she's powerful there. Now, in regards to who they vote for, that's up to y'all. And we don't know who people voting for until, well, not even when you go into that little booth and y'all vote. That's between you and the universe paying attention to who you voting for and your decision. But she has a lot of influence in getting her fan base to vote. I wish other people was able to do that. Say I was quite impressed by his architecture structure. But the real question is not architecture structure. That's funny. But the question is, does he know how to give some good D? Well, child, inquiring minds want to know because you want to know something. Let me say the Drake Peen stuff until we actually talk about it. I said I'll buy a case of Magateers by Taylor Swift and water bottles. Ugh, that water probably tastes salty and nasty as hell. It probably tastes cheap too, like old tap water from where's from Michigan. That's probably what that is. That old Michigan tap water. That's probably what it tastes like. But anyway, so let's move on to our next topic because I'm gonna keep it in the comic book world, and then we'll get to the other stuff. Xolo Maridueña has been speaking out about the future of Blue Beetle. Excuse me. And he said that DC fans won't have to wait too long to see him back on the screen as the young superhero. Now, Blue Beetle star Xolo Maridueña weighs in on his character's future. The 2023 superhero movie was one of the final outings of the DC franchise. I know a lot of people think it's Aquaman, but Aquaman was on a delay. They released that last. But the last DC movie technically is Blue Beetle. So it said that it transitioned from the DC extended universe to the DC universe. The DC Universe is a new iteration of the franchise that'll be overseen by DC Studio co-CEO James Gunn and Peter Safran, while the DCU kicks off with 2025 Superman Legacy and several other upcoming titles that have already been announced. It is currently unknown exactly how many DC EU characters will return or be recast. Well, so far we only know that Xolo was the only one from that DCEU that has been invited to come back. As far as like Wonder Woman goes, I don't know if Gal Gadot's gonna be invited back. I think Jason Momoa is done as Aquaman. I do not think that we're getting Ezra Miller back as the Flash, especially after how disastrous that freaking movie was. Batfleck, I think he's pretty much done. Henry Cavill, we're not going to see him ever again as Superman, unfortunately. So I do think that portion of the Snyderverse is dead. Now, as far as Xolo coming back, I don't actually mind him coming back. I actually liked, like we talked about in the last show. I liked Blue Beetle. It wasn't the greatest movie. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't like the best superhero movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed what I saw. I liked his character. I love the dynamic between him and his family. If they focus on that with the sequel, that would be great. Now, as far as like villains and stuff go, y'all need to step it up in regards of how y'all gonna and put these villains together. Like we need much stronger villain for the sequel. Even if he doesn't get a Blue Beetle 2 right away, I feel like they need to figure out how they could assert him in other things. Maybe put him in Booster Gold, get him in to make a cameo in that, and so many of the other superhero movies, TV shows that are coming up, so that way people can get, you know, used to seeing Blue Beetle around before y'all give him another major tentpole movie. Because I do think that Xolo has what it takes to carry a film and carry Blue Beetle, because and I'm gonna get into the how much it made at the box office in a second. Um, but it said that Screen Rant had the opportunity to speak with Maridueña on the red carpet for the Saturn Awards, which is like the award show that they give for like sci-fi and that sort of thing. So if you're into the like sci-fi genre, superhero, like all those type of stuff, they give awards in that whole dynamic. Well, in that genre, I should say, not dynamic, but genre. So they said that he was nominated for Best Younger Actor alongside the movie's Best Superhero Film nomination. The star confidently asserts that I know we'll see Blue Beetle again, and this is him expressing his gratitude to Gunn and Safran, folding the character into the plans for the DCU. However, he is unsure if the appearance will be in a sequel or elsewhere in the franchise. So he says, excuse me, I know we'll see Blue Beetle again, whether it comes from the in the form of Blue Beetle 2 or wherever. It's been really great to work alongside James and Peter. Graciously folded us into their new universe, even though it wasn't part of what they came up with. It's an honor. Now, where Blue Beetle heads in the future, I don't know, but I can confidently say we will see him soon. So I'm actually, like I said, I'm glad that they decided to bring him in, because here's the thing: when I first saw Blue Beetle and I was hearing all these earlier rumors about that they were going to be removing a lot of the original superhero characters, like the Wonder Woman, Batman, all the other stuff, like the Snyderverse character, the Snyderverse versions of those superheroes. I was like, oh my god, can y'all please say Blue Beetle? Like I don't know, for some reason I just wanted to root for it, and I think it's because we don't have a lot of Latino based superheroes on our big screens and stuff. So we need that diversity, we need that representation. And that's basically where my angle at it was coming from. It wasn't necessarily about, oh yeah, let's just save this movie for the sake of saving it. I was looking at it from a standpoint of we need more diversity in the superhero genre. So that's where I was hoping and praying that they would bring it back. But anyway, so I do have the chart of the worldwide box office in regards to Blue Beetle. So Blue Beetle came in at 15th, excuse me, in 15th place. Now the budget for the movie was reportedly 125 million, but the worldwide box office was 130.8 million. So it did slightly make its money back, but well, it made back its production budget, I should say. But here's the thing: you got to worry about the marketing and all that stuff. So it didn't make its marketing budget back, I don't think. So it needed to at least cross. It needed to at least gross about 208 million before it ended up in the black. So um it does seem a bit risky, in my opinion, for them to want to make a sequel. I do believe that James Gunn is like one of my favorite directors. I do like a lot of the films that he does. I know a lot of people are kind of like maybe are not really familiar with his work because they're only familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy, but there's been a lot of things that I loved about James Gunn. First of all, he wrote the script to the remake to Dawn of the Dead, which I absolutely love. He did Slither, which is like one of my favorite alien invasion movies. He's done so. James Gunn has been around for a long time and has made a lot of movies that I absolutely love. And then he did the Suicide Squad, which I actually liked. I know a lot of people didn't particularly care for it. It didn't really do that well at the box office. I think I have their box office numbers here. Um, yeah, it grossed. It made 185 million. That was the budget. Was 185 million, and its gross was 168.7 worldwide. So it bombed. So you worry a little bit because while James Gunn is like a lot of his stuff, like a lot of the scripts are really well written, and he's really smart and good in regards of putting together films and stuff about superheroes who were kind of misfitty. Sometimes the box office don't be matching, and I hope that they're able to get, in my opinion, I hope they're able to get the DCU back on track because, but I think what hurt the Snyderverse, and I know a lot of people was mad about when we wanted Steady Bears, we wanted Steady Bears, but guess what? A lot of y'all didn't promote it. A lot of y'all didn't support it. But the fact of the matter was, I think the Snyderverse didn't work, and I think it was also the studio's fault. They were trying to compete with the MCU. Kevin Feige and him already had a plethora of movies already out, done. They already established the MCU. The DCEU did not even establish their situation yet. So it felt like y'all were trying to rush and play catch up because you know how many movies we had to get before we got an Avengers? How was it that we only had one Batman movie? Wait, did we even get a Batman movie? I don't think we did. We got one Superman movie. We didn't even get a Superman sequel with Henry Cavill. Batman gets introduced in Batman v Superman. Didn't even get his own solo Batman film. Although I still want that Batman movie that Ben Affleck wrote that they said is one of the best written scripts in Hollywood, where he basically was supposed to go up against Deathstroke, which was teased, I believe, in Batman v Superman at the end. So that's the movie I still want. I don't think we'll ever get it, but I was really looking forward to that movie. And then we got Wonder Woman. She got introduced in Batman v Superman, but she did get her own solo film. The first movie I loved, second movie, oh my god, I can't even watch it. It's so bad. Um, the Flash, the special effects, I still can't get past how cheap and fucked up it look. Y'all spent all that goddamn money for them cheap ass looking effects. So it just felt like it was a rush job. Y'all rushed to get to the Justice League, and I didn't feel like a lot of those characters earned that movie. So that's what hurt the DCU, in my opinion. So I've got my fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to a Blue Beetle movie. I love Xolo as an actor. I like him in that franchise. I'm looking forward, like I said, to the last season of Cobra Kai. So whenever that airs, but yeah. So good luck to y'all. And I do see we do have a lot of comments. Please hold. Do. I was like, I always gotta scroll. Maybe I need to keep the comments and stuff on while I'm talking, so that way I'm able to see. So that way I don't have to keep. But anyway, so Sailor Murmur said, "Child, I love what people." Oh wait, I read that already. I read that too. Okay, so I don't know if it's like a male teen discovering his first erection after puberty. Well, that kind of did have that vibe in the franchise when that movie came, when he first got attached to the whole Blue Beetle suit. It did kind of feel like that he was going through puberty a little bit, even though he was a college kid. I'm tired of us relying on Taylor Swift and white folks to get things done when we know they'll preserve the status quo that will most likely. Absolutely. Is that about the Grammys? We're definitely going to talk about that. I remember the Latino community was hoping it would have the same impact as Black Panther did. It should have, but the fact of the matter was, I just think it was just a weak script. That was the problem, I feel like, in my opinion, that hurt Blue Beetle. And it could have also been the studio that it was with. That it just felt like a lot of the things that they were greenlighting over there was really no faith in these movies and stuff at this point. I'm glad that the movie got made. I'm glad that out there. Excuse me. But I feel like um Warner Brothers didn't really support the film, but it did well enough that James Gunn was like, you know what, I'm gonna bring this franchise in. I'm gonna take Sholo under my wing, and I'm gonna do something with it. And so I do trust James Gunn because he has his body of work speaks for itself. Then James Gunn say his vision is young actors to get a younger market interested. He literally let go of anybody in their 30s or 50s knowing they'll get well. I do think because if you want to establish longevity with your superhero characters, unfortunately, and I hate that we have to kind of go in this ageist direction, but it's kind of warranted. Like you have to go younger. What's his name? The new Superman. All I can think of is his last name, which is Corn Sweat. I forgot who his first name is. But he's a younger actor, so they're gonna bring him in there. Sholo was like what, early 20s, so you can have him play that character for as long as you want. So yeah, they're gonna go younger, unfortunately, because they want to establish these things. When they were going more into Snyder's universe, a lot of the characters had already, a lot of those superheroes had already been doing their thing, so they didn't like it wasn't kind of like origin-y, which I think is kind of the direction he wants to go into. Start with an origin and then build these characters up. So that way you want to get your fan base used to them. And so it's like when we first saw Thor, nobody knew who Chris Hemsworth was. But then it was like by the time we got to the Avengers, we were so excited to see him and Captain America and Black Widow. We were so excited to see all these people that were in those movies. So it felt like comfort food almost. Like friends we had invited over to the house. I said they should get a meaner villain for the second movie. Having Susan Sarandon reminded me of when Sharon Stone was the villain in Halle Berry's Catwoman movie. Can I just tell you, I love that movie, even though it's so bad. I love Catwoman with Halle Berry. It's like one of those it's so bad it's good type films. But anyway, okay, so I think he wanted a more optimistic vibe. Zack Snyder, no shade, was dark, and that was another thing too. Them damn movies was too dark, like dark, as in the tone, and I could barely see shit. So that was another thing that I didn't particularly care for in regards of Zack Snyder's tone. His tone is always like so depressing and somber. It's like, chow, who died? I mean, maybe that's a poor choice of words because I know at one point he had to stop filming because his daughter died. But I mean it like that. I was just saying. But it just felt like a lot of his vibe is very depressing. So I think I heard it too. But anyway, let's get to the next topic and talk about Miss Kandi Burruss quitting Real Housewives of Atlanta after 14 seasons. So Kandi announced that she would no longer be returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Bravo reality series she once appeared on since 2009. She discussed her decision with editor Mark Malkin for Variety's On the Carpet, presented by DirecTV at the Grammys on Sunday, saying, "I'm not really keeping up right now," she said when asked about the show. "I'm not keeping up. I already said it, so I'll tell you. I decided I'm not coming back this year. It's been 14 seasons, and they allowed me to sit around for a little too long." I mean, quiet as it's kept. That's what people will say. That's what you've been doing for years on Real Housewives of Atlanta, sitting around and not really giving them anything. But anyway, let's continue. But during that time, I had started working on a lot of other things, and I got some nice projects coming soon. So I'm super excited about those things. But it's not just that. She continued. It's just like after you really have time to think. And a friend of mine was like, "Why you keep doing it?" And I was like, "Well, I think it's because I've just been doing it for so long. It feels weird to think not to do it." So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a moment. I'm not coming back this year. So yeah, take a pause. And in my opinion, like, look, I said this before. Season 15, I checked out after the first two episodes. I'm like, this show is so horrible, boring. None of these women are interesting. Nothing good is going on. I could care less with any about anything that's going on in these ladies' personal lives. So with Kandi leaving, I'm kind of glad because Kandi, in my opinion, quiet as it's kept, has not provided anything entertaining on this show for the past couple of years. I even said since Nene last season, she ain't really gave nobody nothing. And that was like maybe what, 3-4 seasons ago? So Kandi stepping away, I think is best. I do feel like, you know what, she's got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Isn't she producing a new Wiz musical that's supposed to be coming on Broadway, I think next month, which I need to get tickets for because I definitely want to go see the Wiz on Broadway. Um, but I know she's got a lot of stuff that she has going on behind the scenes. I know she's getting more into producing films and things. And there was a movie that was a hit that she did between her and Todd. They produced it or something or another. I think wasn't it Todd's movie that he wrote that was a hit on Lifetime or something or another. Also, I did see that Andy Cohen brought it up on his podcast, on his Radio Andy show podcast. Yeah, it's a podcast. Um, and he was talking about Kandi and stuff, and he said that she had called him and they were crying and all this other stuff, and how I'm a paraphrase and give y'all the tea because he went on 8 minutes about it, and I was like, "Child, are you gonna get to the point or what?" So he basically was saying like she had called him and said that she was ready to move on. Like, I mean, and then what I didn't know is that she was very influential in what went on behind the scenes. So it wasn't a lot of the stuff y'all saw on camera. She was behind the scenes, and when there were things that were going on in Real Housewives of Atlanta that she wasn't excited about, she did call up Annie, and they had their little private conversations, and she was very influential in a lot of stuff that was going on the show. So when people go around, and I believe, didn't she? I don't know. I don't want to put words on her mouth and say like she tried to act like she don't really have no influence to pull. But Andy said that they would have these conversations. So Kandi was very influential in that, which also brings us to the tea about, well, so it do seem like Kandi had a little bit of control of power when it came to wanting to get Phaedra to come back on the show, whatever the case is. Now, speaking of Phaedra, do y'all think that she should come back to Real Housewives of Atlanta reboot now that Kandi is no longer part of the show? So now that Candy's not there, maybe they could bring Portia back, and maybe they could bring Phaedra back. They need a little regification over there. Like, you can get Kandi back, Portia back, and bring Kenya back. Like, that would be my choices of the three. Sheree, I don't know. Would y'all can figure out what to do with her. Send her somewhere else. And I have to also give Phaedra her props. Okay, I got to throw a little shade at first before I give the props, because this wouldn't be a show if I didn't, right? Phaedra was not a good choice for Married to Medicine. I don't know what y'all thought bringing her on there. Maybe y'all thought it was a ploy for ratings or whatever the case is. She ain't really been bringing it. Although I did hear some tea that at the reunion, Apollo makes an appearance. So I'm looking forward to that. If that tea turns out to be true. I will say this. I love Phaedra as the trader on traders. That is where she's thriving. And when she does stuff like that, damn, you know what? If Donald Trump wasn't so goddamn problematic, she'd be perfect for The Apprentice. Has she ever done The Apprentice? No, I think it was Kenya and Nene. If that's what I said, if Donald Trump wasn't such the racist, disgusting, fat, gross, nasty ass bastard that he is, she would have been good for the Celebrity Apprentice. But don't bring that show back, because I don't know. Maybe he owns the rights to that. But she is doing such a phenomenal job over on the Traders. I love over there. Now, Sheree, child, I don't know what you're doing. She gave the same thing that she gives on the Real Housewives of Atlanta over on the Traders, unmemorability. So she ain't memorable over there. She ain't bringing it. She ain't giving what needs to be given, and whatever. But I do think those are my choices. So I want to come back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I hope they do reconsider and they do bring Phaedra back, because she is good TV. And I do think she works in that whole space. And Kandi walking away, you're at this point, girl, you're a businesswoman, you're a mogul, you're doing a whole lot of things behind the scenes. You don't need to be on camera spilling your business and your tea anymore. You have given the Real Housewives of Atlanta enough with going on in your personal life, from AJ, who died, the baby daddy drama, meeting your current husband Todd, who worked behind the scenes on the Real Housewives of Atlanta before y'all got together. So and then Mama Joyce being the mess that she is. So there's been so many, Rape Gate, allegedly, or Dungeon Gate, we should say. So there's been so many things that she's given us over the years. You don't need to prove yourself to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You don't even need to be a part of the show. You've given us 14 good seasons. You've given us how many seasons you gave. I can't tell you which ones were the good ones. But you gave enough being a part of this show for 14 damn seasons. So good luck to you, sis, on whatever you plan on doing. And look, she's got more money than many, in my opinion. I should have played the clip though. I've heard saying it, but y'all pretty much got the gist of everything. But look, she's co-written TLC No Scrubs, Destiny's Child, Bill's Bills. She's written stuff for NSYNC. So she's, Kandi's been around. Kandi is a real businesswoman. So good luck to you, sis. Okay, this said Catwoman with Halle Berry is my guilty pleasure. I like it, showing history and mythology behind the various Catwoman, and her outfit is everything. Well, no, well, that body of Halle should be studied, because Miss Mama's body is just everything. And it was unique, and I'll appreciate that. Oh, we can go together. Never been to a Broadway show before. That would be an idea to go see that. Portia and Kenya are returning to the show. I just logged on by, hey, Victor Gates, how you doing? Um, are they? Well, I mean, that's good. That's good news for me to see that they're. What are you talking about? Yeah. Well, we'll see if we try to squeeze all that into the show, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so now let's get into the other team, because she revealed that on the Grammy red carpet. Let's talk about the Grammys. So before we get into Jay-Z's rant Let's give a huge congratulations to Victoria Monet, Miley Cyrus, SZA, Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, and so many others who were among the big list of winners at last night's Grammy Awards. Now, Taylor Swift won Album of the Year for Midnights, making her the first person to win in that category 4 times. Earlier in the show, Swift won Best Pop Vocal Album and took the opportunity to announce blah, 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 child, and they was already pissed about that. The fact that she announced her new damn album in her acceptance speech and all that stuff. But I do like the fact that Billie Eilish. Well, first of all, can we just talk about Billie Eilish's vocals? When she sang that damn song during the Grammys, I have to say she has such a beautiful voice. I just love how her breath control is. Like to me, I do love me some Billie Eilish. I mean, it do sound like sometimes her music be a little depressing. Whose music is more depressing? Hers or Lana Del Rey's? Sometimes I have to wonder. But Billie Eilish, I have to say, like the music is everything, but girl, who be dressing you? Cause them fashions is giving TJ Maxx tees. TJ Maxx with a little bit of Walmart. Like we need to do a little better with the looks, especially when you go in a prestigious place like the damn Grammys. But I do have to say, one of the things I was really excited about, Miley Cyrus, ain't nobody seemed more happy for her to win the Grammy than when she got up there. Was like when she won for Flowers. So in the beginning of the show, she won for Best Pop Solo Performance, and then she won Record of the Year for the same damn song. And Flowers, in my opinion, is the best song on that album. I think it's the only one I can remember. But yeah, that is a good song. But here was a gripe that I had. Now, while I am appreciative and I love the fact that Karol G won Best Música Urbana album for her album Mañana Será Bonito, can we talk about the fact that why was there only 3 nominees in that category? I think it was her, Raul Alejandro, and Tiny, I think it was. If I probably forgot the third one, but I think it might have been Tiny. But anyway, so why was there only 3 in that category? Were they the only 3 in the urban music market that were nominated and were putting out music? Speaking of which, here's a gripe that I have because Killer Mike won the big best rap album thing, and congratulations to him on that. Why was Best Música Urbana televised, but Best Rap Album category not televised? We still in the nation where we got Jay-Z bitching and moaning about his wife not getting Album of the Year, but why is hip hop still being treated like the ugly stepchild after all these years? That's what I want to know. But we're gonna get more into that coming up. So, what else? Oh, and then also I have to say this. One of the best performances I saw the night, I did like Miley Cyrus's performance. It made me cackle because she was like, not y'all up in here trying to act like y'all don't know the word. YouTube was typical YouTube. But the MVP for most improved, in my opinion, I did like seeing Joni Mitchell. Dula Peep. Dula Peep turned it out during that performance. I'm like, bitch, okay. Now I already liked her songs and stuff, but now I'm really starting to like her as an artist because I'm like, okay, now if they were to give out the Step Your Pussy Up award, it definitely goes to Dula Peep because Dula Peep was up in there. She was getting lifted on this big ass bar, this square bar, and then she's out there giving full out choreography. I'm like, okay, sis, you better turn it out. So she definitely did her thing with that, and I just love the fact that she really turned it out with the choreography and stuff. So now Jay-Z saying what he said. I'm gonna read it. I'm not gonna show the video because I don't want it to get flagged because it's property of CBS and this whole thing. So Jay-Z got his award yesterday. What was it? The Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. Sidebar. Before we get into that, why is Dr. Dre winning an award knowing what he allegedly did to D Barnes? Why do we have a Dr. Dre award? Can somebody explain that? But nevertheless, Dr. Dre was there, and Jay-Z received the award. Now, I didn't even know Jay-Z, Beyonce, and them was showing up until I happened to look when I'm watching it. I'm like, Blue Ivy, she doing it because that girl tall, even though she's what, 12? I'm like, damn, what they put in your cereal? Because Miss Mama's is tall. So she could be a model if she wants to. Well, look, every other celebrity in Hollywood got a model daughter. So why not put Blue Ivy up in there when she old enough? Don't do with the whole 12-year-old thing. Or unless that's what she want to do. So anyway, so he said what he said in his speech, and he called out the Grammy Academy for, you know, their lack of understanding of the culture and not always getting everything right. So he says, how far we have come with Will Smith, the Fresh Prince winning their first Grammy in '89 and boycotting because it was not televised. And then they went to a hotel to watch the Grammys. I don't even understand. It was just not a great boycott. But then in '98, I took a page out of their book and was nominated for Best Rap Album. And DMX put out two, and they were both number one, and he's not nominated at all. So I boycotted and I watched. I'm just saying, we want you all to get it right. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want you to get it right, but at least get it close to right. And obviously, it's subjective because it's music and it's opinion based, but some things, dot, dot, dot. And then he goes and looks over at Beyonce and says, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but why he said it like he's such an old man? I mean, then again, Jay-Z is in his 50s and Beyonce's 42. So, anyway, let's get back to reading and not reading. I can't do a whole thing without throwing a read in. But he says, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than anyone. Number one album of the year. So even by that metric, it does not work. Think about that. Most Grammys never won an album of the year. That does not work. He then doubled down by saying, when I get nervous, I tell the truth. Which, I love a truth teller. I'm all for that. However, I will say this. Jay, I love that you spoke up for your wife. I love that you defended her. Between the both of y'all got like 50 damn Grammys. Beyonce has 32. I don't know necessarily, y'all do the math to add it up to the 50. Or I don't think it's necessarily 50, but I know it's over 50. So between the both of y'all got more, y'all got more Grammys than I'll ever see in a lifetime. Or many people. So I love the fact that, that he stood up for his wife, that he defended her, and he said what he said. However, I happened to watch a clip of Roland Martin earlier today, and he said some shit that was like, you want to know something? He ate. Why is it that y'all complain about all this other stuff, right? The real protest, if you really want to be about change, you really want to do about something with the fact that how the Grammys continue to play in black faces, your ass shouldn't have showed up. He shouldn't have showed up. You knew you was getting this prestigious award. The more power that you don't realize your own power, you shouldn't have showed up. Also, with Jay being in the position that he's in, he's a powerful mogul. He runs Rock Nation. He's got a lot of people under him who listen to him and are influenced by what he does. We had this conversation the other day of like how so many female rappers look up to Jay-Z and want that mentorship and that sort of thing. Why didn't he use his power and leverage to be like, you know what? I'm not going to show up to the Grammys, and this is my protest. And they would have been like, well, how would we have known about it? Instagram. He could have put out a whole Instagram thesis, whatever, and explain why he did not show up to the Grammys. Because I feel that until they get it right, until they televise the best rap album category, until they show respect to hip hop artists, then I'm not going to show my ass in this place. I'm not going to give y'all what y'all want. Y'all want those ratings. Whenever Beyonce and Jay-Z steps into a room, whenever they show up to these award shows, of course, y'all going to run over and watch the TV. So that way y'all can be up there in the moment or see the clip on social media and talk about it, which is why everybody's talking about it now. So that's the real tea. Is the fact that when you are in a position of power, when you are as powerful as a Jay-Z or a Beyonce, whatever, why aren't y'all using your power and leverage to be like, you know what, I'm not going to keep showing up to these award shows if y'all keep playing in our face? Because we know what album of the year means. That is like your peers looking at you and saying, you have arrived, that we see you. And yes, that's why people do it. It's for the validation. But the fact of the matter is, Beyonce and Jay-Z ain't really going to go about not showing up and protest the right way because they want to be in those rooms. They want to be a part of the elite. They are a part of the elite. And if they really say what needs to be said, they're not going to be able to. They feel like that card is going to get revoked, which goes to show y'all continue to tap dance for these fucking white people. instead of really putting the energy and the power and the support behind the Black-owned stuff? Why aren't these same people showing up at the BET Awards? Why y'all not putting that same energy behind the Soul Train Awards? Why y'all not putting all that same energy behind the NAACP Image Awards? Stop always looking for this white validation. Because at the end of the day, the Taylor Swifts and all of them, they're going to be all right. How the hell did Harry's House win over Album of the Year over all the nominations? And that was a good record, in my opinion. But not Album of the Year worthy. But this is what they do. So, there's a lot of comments. I'm like, I see 16. I'm like, well, damn. But yeah, so that's basically how I felt in that whole situation. But also, I should point out before we get to the comments, because there's a lot. Hold on. Matthew Knowles had a lot to say in regards to this. And I was like, oh, look, hey, Beyonce daddy. Because, yeah, he basically had his opinion, and we do have a clip of the video that we're going to play in a second, but hold on. So the 42-year-old, as you know, holds the title for most awarded and most nominated artist of Grammy history. That's another thing too, is that she has the most Grammys in history. She has 32 wins and 88 nominations. Despite previously being nominated for Album of the Year for I Am Sasha Fierce, her 2013 subtitled album Lemonade, and most recently Renaissance, she has yet to secure the honor. In a conversation with TMZ Live on Monday, Mathew said that his famous daughter has been snubbed more so, and you can blame the Grammys. I think that's part of it, but that's not all of it. He said that it's also up to Columbia Records. What a lot of people don't know is this. Is Adele on Columbia Records? And Harry Styles is on Columbia Records. So those are Beyonce's label mates. So it could also be that the label believes in the Adeles and the Harry Styles. They're investing that time and energy and promotion into them than a Beyonce. But then, was I having a conversation on social media or somewhere? But somebody also said this. Beyonce's got to do the legwork too. She needs to be out there campaigning. She's got to be out there kissing babies and shaking hands. A lot of these award shows are political. They really are. A lot of it is it has to do with politics. So she's got to get out there and really campaign. You can't just be thinking, I'm Beyonce. They'll vote for me, sis. These people in the Grammy committee, this ain't the Beehive, where they just going to show up regardless. You got to really put in the legwork. And to me, also, maybe the fact that she didn't release any music videos, she didn't really do no real promotion behind the whole Renaissance era. She just focused mostly on, I dropped the album, y'all go listen to it and get it trending on social media, and then I'ma just focus on the tour. And that's basically all we got. And everybody else, you know, had the accolades and got appreciated, from Kevin Aviance to T.S. Madison. But at the end of the day, there really wasn't, it didn't seem like she put enough energy and effort behind her own securing the album of the year. So maybe you need to change your approach, or all the other stuff I said too. So let's get to this clip of Matthew Knowles talking about his daughter Beyonce.
If Beyonce were overlooked time after time after time for everything, I get it. But she's won 32 and really, as you say, 36 awards. So it's not that she's been overlooked. So why do you think that this one category is where they're disrespecting her?
People don't know the process. Your record label can only appoint one person in a category. So that means her record label, I'm gonna call you out, Columbia Records. Her record label has never really put her in that category for consideration.
But she's been nominated. And I guess that's the problem, Mathew, is that people feel like they nominate her for Album of the Year, but then they give it to someone who, in the eyes of a lot of fans, had an inferior album. And that's the question, is like, why are they singling her out in that category?
Well, again, when you have going back to Adele and Beyonce on the same record label, the record label can only support one of those artists.
Why do you think that the label, which has made a fortune off Beyonce, why would they choose Adele over your daughter?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, there's a financial reason. Maybe Adele sold more records worldwide. I don't know these answers, but these are some of the thought processes that they go through. Maybe you say, you know, Beyonce has her success. Here's an opportunity to push Adele, so let's push her.
So this isn't so much the Grammys as it is the label, according to you.
It's a combination of all.
So y'all pretty much got the gist. So I do agree with that. That I think it's a combination of all, but also the artist has got to be willing to get out there and campaign as well. But I do feel like, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I think it's also rooted in racism. So I do feel like, well, maybe they feel like that Beyonce is the big major star, so we don't have to push her as much. So yeah, let's go for the Harry Styles this year because he has such a phenomenal record. Or let's go for the Adele. There's been some people that I heard that said that, you know what, Beyonce has good singles, but as far as like a cohesive body of work that would be held up to the same category of an album of the year, she doesn't give that. So like Jay-Z said in his speech, it's all subjective. At the end of the day, she has her 32 her 32 wins. Where in her house does she have all those damn Grammys? That's what I want to know. Do you have like a special wall, like a special glass case when you got them all just like in a row, like in a whole row, like 5 or 6 rows of like of Grammys? So would love to see that damn Grammy wall. But for the most part, I do feel like, you know what? I mean, it could be rooted in a lot of that too. It could be the fact of the matter is that they look at Beyonce is our biggest act on here, so we don't really have to push her as hard because we know at the end of the day, she gives the littlest effort. The Beehive is going to come out and support, and she's going to make all this damn money for us and them and all this stuff. Maybe at this point, Beyonce needs to look at her career in the same way of an Usher, in the same way of a Kylie Minogue, and so many of these other major celebrities and superstars who are going the independent route. And Jennifer Lopez, you know, they're signing distribution deals, but they own their masters and they own their music. Well, I don't know about Jennifer Lopez, I don't know her masters, but I do know like there's other people who are independent and they own their masters and all the stuff, and then it is what it is. So maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe she also needs to kind of look at her future with Columbia. Is that a label you want to stay with? Oh, excuse me. Drink some water, child. Let's go. So yeah, so does she want to stay with the label or is she ready to move on? Inquiring minds want to know. All right, so now let's get to these comments because I see there's a lot. So we can get to there's more Grammy stuff that we can talk about, and then we finally can get to the Drake stuff. Okay, so um had a double agent let her know release dates. I remember all of that. The fact of the matter that the reason why, because I know, here's the thing, because there was something that came out about Nicki Minaj, and oh, that was another thing that was messy what y'all did over at the Grammys. So the fact of the matter was there was a story that came out that Barbie World won, but it turned out it was Killer Mike that wound up winning the Grammy, that they messed up over on the Grammy website and that sort of thing. And there was a whole issue and everything with that. So whoever did that, y'all were being messy. I see what y'all was doing. Maybe y'all was doing that because some of y'all over there don't like Nicki. But I hated the fact that there were people in the comments over on the Black blogs, the Insta blogs, that would run around and say, well, if Nicki Minaj said or Kanye said what Jay-Z said, y'all want to call them irrational and crazy. Well, bitch, that's because the fuck they are. So when y'all sit up in here running around talking about, well, bringing us, why y'all always got to make everything about them? First of all, Kanye been problematic. He out here said slavery was a choice. He continues to throw black people on the bus. Yet y'all ninjas continue to fucking defend him. Y'all get me sick with that bullshit. Then on top of that, there's been a lot of shady shit that she's been doing behind the scenes, Nicki Minaj. And now there is something, the fact what Robert is alluding to is the fact that there was something that came out because I think what was her name? Desiree Lopez, who runs Rock Nation. How Nikki said that she was going to expose her and all this other stuff. So what happened was, because remember, once upon a time, there were times when Nikki would go on social media and be like, well, I always know when Megan and Cardi drops music. She had someone on the inside leaking her information. Desiree found out who the people or person or persons was and had them fired. So they can not only no longer work they can't work in the industry. They're pretty much asked out, unless I guess they find somewhere else to go and they can slither their way in. But for the most part, they've been ostracized. So long story short, apparently what it is that Nikki's out of the loop. She doesn't know what's going on with a lot of these girls, which is why a lot of the time when you saw this recent beef situation that's been happening, whenever Megan or Cardi announces a music release, because apparently word on the street is Nicki has no budget, which is why y'all ain't seen no real music videos coming out of her and all this other stuff lately. They've cut down her budget. She has ruffled a lot of feathers with people behind the scenes. So whenever these rap girls comes out with stuff, allegedly, what she does is she tries to latch on by doing a Queen radio or whatever the case is to try to bring promotion to her stuff. So that's the that's the short story of it. So there's a lot of that. So apparently she had someone on the inside. Desiree found out who it was and got rid of them. So that's why she mad. But anyway, so Andy personally told me, you're a mess. That's what I said. Wait, what is that? See, this is why I need to probably be that's what it was. I was like, did she shop with TJ Maxx? Now I know what it was. Okay, so the Hive hates her cousin Whisper, still mad over the Oscar loss of their queen, but failed to realize their queen had to promote that song for an Oscar. Yeah, I've seen some categories that have like 6 nominations. That's what I was saying. Like compared to so many other nominations, I've seen people with 5, 9, 10, 6. But Musica Urbana gets 3, and then y'all give it to Carol G. And now I'm not throwing shade at Carol G. I do like her new album. I'm also glad that she is the first female she's not even a rapper. The first female artist to win in that category. So that's great. But 3 category, what is this? The fucking American Music Awards? Because that's the way that they do 3 categories. There's always some lame ass music they be nominated too. But I did love Joni Mitchell's performance. I also loved Annie Lennox singing Nothing Compares to You. Excuse me. Was I'm an Annie Lennox fan. So I did love that performance. Jay-Z is spot on when he called them out and said that some of the artists don't deserve. On that note, I agreed with that too. However, I stand 10 toes down on all the stuff I said. And I hope I hit all cylinders when I brought it up about the whole Jay-Z situation. But I'm like, Jay-Z, it was great that you said the speech. I'm glad you defended your wife and all the stuff. But at the end of the day, I will say that I don't feel like it made that much of an impact, because a real impact would have been not showing up. A real impact would have been like, I'm not accepting this award until y'all really do what needs to be done to support and really show love to hip hop and the community. Y'all still treat it like it's the bastard child. Y'all only want to talk about pop stars, country music, rock, not even rock music. Because there was no rock music nomination. I mean, there was a lot of rock music nominated, but I didn't see none of them get up there and pick up awards. Let's say I want whatever it is that Tracy Chapman is taking. Child, the melanin was melanin. The melanin was popping. She looked good. The only thing that aged on her was that hair, because you saw the gray. But other than that, she still looked the same. I love me some Tracy Chapman. I didn't know who he was or cared for the person that sang, her song, but I did love seeing Tracy Chapman up there, and hopefully, with her showing up at the Grammy Awards, the younger kids who like that song will get into her music. So there's the same person that complained about the inequality happening within Black athletes, but the moment he got child, don't even. You speaking a word today. Because it does feel like that. Like, it feels like Jay-Z and that whole shit was performative. It's like, yeah, y'all told all that shit about a knee and let's support Colin Kaepernick, but how is it that now you're providing music, you're doing the halftime at the fucking Super Bowl? So what has changed at the end of the day? Nothing. You're just glad that y'all got in the room, that you're part of the elite, that you get to be a part of the thing, but nothing has changed. And yet and still, we get online, we complain, we bitch and moan, but then at the end of the day, it's business as usual. So you're absolutely right with that. And I totally forgot about that with the whole music thing. I'm glad you wrote that in the comments because you absolutely reminded me. And that's why I'm like, you sit up here and y'all talk about, oh yeah, well, Beyonce didn't get her little album of the year. But what's changing within the music industry? How are we making it better? And I'm gonna definitely be keeping my eye on these other award shows. I'm gonna watch the NAACP Image Awards. I'm gonna watch the BET Award. Well, I watch all these award shows every year anyway, and the Soul Train Awards. And if they black asses ain't in the fucking room, Jay-Z and all of them can kiss my ass because I don't understand how y'all gonna sit up in here and talk about this, and this because y'all want it for y'all, but you're not really riding for the culture. You want to be a part of the culture. And I get it. I'm happy that he got his little situation over at the Brooklyn Public Library, a library I grew up going to as a kid all the damn time. So I love that he got his, his thing going on over there. I used to grow up, when I grew up in Brooklyn, I used to go to that Brooklyn Public Library in Grand Army Plaza all the time when I was a kid. So the fact of the matter that he has that exhibit there, I love that for him, but we need to see real change happening in the culture. I'm tired of the hot air. Love Beyonce down, but at the end of the day, the capitalists, they hijacked a movement for monetary gain. There's something black folks need to stop doing, stop having these. Hallelujah. Beyonce didn't put out an album last year. She was focused on her tour. No, I think it did. Didn't it come out last year? Or was it the year before? She toured this. Wait, what year are we in? Oh, 20. We're in 2024. I totally forgot. I'm like, you know what? Why am I still, my mind is still in 2023, even though, yeah, it is February. So, yeah, she didn't put out the album last year. She put out the year before, but I think she was nominated. Renaissance was nominated in 2023 and won its awards and stuff. Remember, that's how she got her 32nd Grammy last year. But she should have gotten album of the year for that because of the whole cultural movement stuff. Harry Styles won it. Black celebrities and entertainers as the voice of a movement, all they care about is money because he wouldn't say this if Beyonce got album of the year. He wouldn't, which is why he's complaining. And then Beyonce always sit up there looking like a deer in headlights, scared because people always saying stuff on her behalf. But trust and believe, she and him been having that conversation in rooms with each other and amongst their peers. He just happened to say it in front of millions of people where there was a camera pointed at him or cameras. I don't know why the Recording Academy has a problem with black artists, and because racism. This industry is rooted in racism still to this day. That's why the Recording Academy has a problem with black artists. They want y'all to show up. They want you to shuck and jive for their ratings, but they don't really want to truly show support. That's why I said, like, with these award shows, a lot of these mainstream award shows, and then even with the whole thing in Hollywood, it's all performative. They're like, oh yeah, they talk about Oscars so white and all this other stuff. Oh, we'll give them a little, trinkets here and there. We'll give so they can shut the fuck up, and then we'll go about it a year or two, and then we'll just go and then year 3, business as usual. And then we get the complaints again, and then it becomes cyclical. So it's like you got to consistently be on their ass. So I do agree with Jay-Z when he said that y'all need to constantly be in the room. You got to constantly go after these people. You got to constantly say what needs to be said, and things will get done. That's the only way you can go about it. You have to constantly be on their ass about stuff. But also, Jay, you are someone who's I always learned this. The only way to evoke change in a lot of places, you have to get yourself in those rooms. Once you get in those rooms, then you have to assert your power and try to make those changes. Jay is in those rooms. Beyonce is in those rooms. Dr. Dre is in those rooms. Why are we still in the same damn place that we were years ago? Why, like I said, the best rap album category is not televised. Why is that? Hip hop is one of the biggest cultural phenomenons in music, yet y'all still put that shit off camera. And I saw Killer Mike's speech online where he jumping up and down talking about, I don't want to hear nothing about y'all too old or you're too this or you're too that for dreams to come true. Because he's 48 years old and won 3 Grammys. So age don't mean shit. And I'm tired of people sitting up here saying like, oh, when you're a certain age and all this other stuff that you can't win things or you're not going to get this, you're not going to get that. And so he won 3 Grammys at 48. Then he wound up going to jail. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. But um, yeah, so he won those awards and stuff. So that should have been that should have been televised because that would have been a great inspirational moment that people would have been talking about on social media. Instead, everybody talking about him getting arrested. Y'all tried to overshadow that. So we see what y'all was doing. So we're not even gonna. I'm not gonna let that overshadow the situation. So if y'all happen to go on YouTube or whatever, look it up or Twitter or social media, anywhere on social media, just look up Killer Mike winning the Grammy for Best Rap Album. You'll definitely get your life with his speech because I thought it was a great speech. I'm still a little side eyeing him for going on Bill Maher's show, but other than that, I like Killer Mike. The only time they televised a rap album was when Cardi B won to well, yeah. Well, y'all can't just be picking and choosing when y'all want to do things to be shady. Like if we're gonna do things, we need to be consistent. Honestly, I'm not and I think also because they know how Cardi B is on social media, so they wanted to capture that moment in case she does one of her little, the way she be talking, the way she be acting, and get everybody laughing and kiki and hollering and all this other stuff. So they wanted a viral moment. We see what they be doing over there. Honestly, I'm not optimistic of Black-owned companies like I used to, especially you have those like Diddy who will do you dirty, and that's another thing too. We have people in our own community that's that whole crab in the barrel situation. It's like once they get to the top of the pyramid, then it's like, well, the rest of y'all, I'm in the room. Fuck y'all. Fend for yourself. It kind of gets like that instead of uplifting the next generation and being a mentor to those people and getting them to possibly get where you are. Let's be honest, most Black people don't financially support each other as a collective because we don't see ourselves as a profitable investment. We talk a good game, but when it comes to deliver, most don't have the same energy. It's sad to say this, but it's the truth. And then Sailor Mermaid responded to Robert saying it's because they don't want Black artists to strive because they see us as competition. That's absolutely true. We can be as big as we want, but and that's the thing too, is that maybe with Beyonce, they're trying to, Kendrick Lamar her, sit down, be humble. So no matter how hard you work, no matter how gracious you are, see Beyonce couldn't say all that because I would have called all kinds of B words, ungrateful, all the other stuff. So Jay-Z says it's not as harsh. So let him defend his wife. But yeah, at the end of the day, when it comes to Black people, they want our rhythm, but not our blues. They want us to get up there, shuck and jive for a check. They want us to entertain them. But at the end of the day, when it comes to really making an actual impact and being a part of, having a historical moment, and really getting in those rooms and being about things and making the change and all the stuff, they don't want that. They want to humble you. It's like, oh yeah, we'll give you 32 Grammys. We ain't never gonna give you that damn album of the year. BMG was able to secure Kylie Minogue her second Grammy win for Padam Padam and the inaugural Best Pop Dance Recording. I did see that I did watch that video online of that win, but she didn't show up for it. She wasn't there. I think because it aired before the actual show, so it was off air. If that makes sense. So I think Lost Boy, the producer, showed up to pick up the Grammy. Jay-Z sounded really entitled. Well, that's because he is. A lot of them are. Honoring Sinead when the U.S. music industry had a hand in why she is no longer with us and labeled crazy, though she told the truth. 23 years since a rock song topped the Hot 100. And it's another thing, too. The last time you just reminded me, the last time a Black woman, or someone Black, I should say, won Album of the Year, Lauryn Hill for that one damn record, Miseducation. Yeah, I'm still throwing shade at her because that bitch don't like showing up on time nowhere. And Cass for the Speaker Box Love Below. They're the only two Black people that have won Grammys for the Album of the Year. Since then, we have not had nobody Black win. So that's fucked up. The guy singing with Tracy Chapman was Luke Combs. He discovered her song and they won Best Song at the CMAs. Look at the I do love, one thing I will say is that I love when the younger kids discover discover new music, discover older music because I'm tired of this narrative where people act like, well, music didn't exist before the year 2000. I'm like, did Y2K happen and the world was wiped out and I didn't know about it? Because that was the fear. Like when a lot of us who are older than the year 2000 um, jumped up and was like, oh my God, this means it's the end of the world. We all gonna die. And then 2000 comes, I'm like, that was it? The day changed and nothing happened. So I do love the fact that shout out to the younger kids who are in their 20s and early 30s. Is it? No, in their 20s and younger, who are going and listening to a lot of older music and are discovering a lot of older artists and really showing love and appreciation. So we got the Luke Combs, no relation to Sean, Diddy Combs, and that he discovered a song and then he put it out there. But Fast Car isn't I think isn't that a folk song? I don't think it's really country. But you know what? Country is rooted in black music. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it is. Happy Black History Month. Country music, punk rock, all that other stuff. A lot of it, all them drums lead to Africa, in case y'all didn't know. So last comment, and then we got to get to the other topics. Renaissance came out in the summer of 2022, yes, and was heavily promoted in 2023, and she was nominated for Grammys during the 2023 Grammys. But 2024, she was there for her husband, and then this whole narrative come out. But like I said, all that stuff I said prior, I stand 10 toes down on what it said. Whatever it was, because I forgot. It was a lot. I done pushed it all out my brain because I'm on to the next topic. This bitch. Let's talk about Alyssa Farrah Griffin and how sincerely hope that she got in a good stretch for this reach. So Taylor Swift may have won her fourth Album of the Year Grammy on Sunday night, but another famous attendee nevertheless was guilty of taking away from the pop star in their speech, despite the fact that he never mentioned Swift's name, according to the View's Alyssa Farrah Griffin. Now, shout out to Entertainment Weekly for this story. Now, the View's resident Swiftie, and she is, which is why I could say that, Alyssa Farrah Griffin will seemingly go to war for Taylor Swift, even if it means pushing back against the music industry's foremost royal couple. After Jay-Z took the Grammy stage on Sunday night to call out the Recording Academy for never awarding his wife Beyoncé with an Album of the Year award, Griffin criticized the move for taking away from Swift's historic evening that saw her become the first person in history to win 4 Album of the Year honors, saying, "This is a long-standing thing. I think the country has never gotten over that Beyoncé didn't win Album of the Year for I Am Sasha Fierce, and that goes back to the Taylor drummer. She won for Fearless that year. Objectively, I can say I think Beyoncé should have won for I Am Sasha Fierce," Griffin said on Monday night during Hot Topics about the ceremony, going on to say that she didn't love portions of Jay-Z's speech. I would love to know what part, because I did see some people online that was talking about how they felt, well, they wanted to make it personal. Y'all was talking about Jay-Z's hair. Y'all was talking about his features. That seemed a little rooted in racism to me. His locks and his African features, his black male features have nothing to do with the fact of what he said about Beyoncé. So y'all want to make shit personal and talk about featureism and talk about his hair. Just say what it is. So she goes, I just don't like, it feels like taking away from artists who are winning that night. Beyoncé has been such a support system to Taylor Swift. She showed up to the opening of her Eras Tour movie. Taylor went to hers, and it feels like it was taken away from making history that night by winning the most albums of the year. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. Here's the thing. First of all, Jay-Z ain't said shit about Taylor Swift. It was not a Taylor, it wasn't a moment for Taylor Swift. Y'all white people want to get up there and play victim whenever it comes to shit about your little faves. Taylor Swift was fine. Taylor had way more to worry about. The fact of the matter that she came across as living in a bubble and very disingenuous when she got up there trying to promote her new damn album nobody asked for. And then on top of that, y'all got your tits in a twist over the fact of what she did with Celine Dion. That Celine presented her with the album of the year, and she was, and not even paying attention to her and all this other stuff. And people felt like she just felt it just came across as cold toward her. But then again, Celine Dion has been ill. Apparently, they said behind the scenes she was worried. She didn't want people kind of like touching on her and all this other stuff because of her fragile state physically. And I remember somebody making a big deal about her closing her coat and not having it open. Maybe she was cold. It's like I'm thinking it's cold in those arenas. Trust and believe when I tell you that. They be having that AC pumping. So maybe Celine Dion can't be up in there, like, even though Laura Roche dress her down to the ground, she couldn't be up in there taking, like, one, expose herself and being, and maybe she was cold. She is a skinny lady. So that could have been it too. But Alyssa, you reached with this one. First of all, this had nothing to do with Taylor Swift. And what Jay-Z decides to say during his speech, that is his time. So he could say whatever the hell he wants to say, which is why he said what he said. So for you to sit up in here and try to make it about Taylor Swift, it had nothing to do with her. It was not taking away from her moment. Taylor was fine. Taylor wasn't even thinking the way you was thinking. But of course, a lot of you snowflakes got to run up in here and make everything about that fucking woman. Now, I know Alyssa got dragged the other day, so people could probably say what she said was rooted in racism. But look, the other day she got dragged on social media for trying to say that racist, not everybody in America is racist, but the vast majority of people are. And that's what Sunny was pointing out. And she said, what you're not going to do on this show, in so many words, is undermine my lived experience, especially when she brought up the fact that her son, Gabriel, who's fine, by the way, he is of age, so I can say that. She said that he was in Florida on the beach and he got called the N-word repeatedly. So this still happens in America, that white people run around because they feel like Trump gives them permission to be a bigot. Because I do feel like when Obama was president, what we got with Trump was a white lashing. The fact of the matter was, there were a lot of white people I know that voted for Trump. I mean, not Trump, for Obama. And kudos to y'all. Y'all were looking for a change to happen in the world, and I do love the fact that we got a 2-term black president. But Trump is a white lashing of that. And white people was mad. The Mitch McConnells, all of them was mad over that shit. So, that's why we had what we had. So, Alyssa, and also let's not forget, Alyssa worked for Trump. So I be side-eyeing her. So while I'm glad she finally unplugged from the Matrix and did what she did in regards of not wanting to be a part of that mess, because she didn't want to be, I guess, liable. So kudos to her for finally unplugging from the Matrix and taking a risk on some shit. But sis, your hands ain't clean in that situation either. You was willing to work with that man for as long as you worked. And they thought that they could tame him. But Miley Cyrus said it best, I can't be tamed. She said it in a song though. So, like I said, so to wrap this up, I know it might be shocking to some of you Swifties, particularly Alyssa Farrah Griffin, but the world don't revolve around Taylor Swift. Is that it is unstable. Jesus Christ. Like the internet is shit, is like working my root canal nerve today. Okay, so what album wasn't explicit? Okay. Hold please, hold please, hold please, hold please. Roro is in the building. He said, why is winning those white folks trophies such a big deal? I mean, look, it's good to get in those rooms if we're gonna be willing to, if changes are gonna happen. But like I said, Jay-Z's got to do better at trying to make real cultural impact, and he has the ability to do that. And it said that Roro, they want to be accepted. True. But not a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot of changes happening. Kylie was in a hotel room getting ready when she was announced the winner. Victor says the Recording Academy votes for artists, and the Grammy organization now announces who the Academy voted for. The Academy has more white vote. Of course they do. And this is until that changes, and it's probably gonna be a long time before that happens. I don't think we're gonna see any change. But when you have someone like a Jay-Z who's in the position that he's in, he should be a little more forceful in regards of getting these changes to happen. But like Sailor Mermaid says, like we've seen the example with the Super Bowl, how what happened to Colin Kaepernick, but now you got Jay-Z producing the halftime specials. John Baptiste is black. My stereo being marked Y2K ready. Our generation may shade streaming, but YouTube is why all these classic lives forever. Absolutely. Because when I be watching like videos and stuff, I have seen like a lot of YouTube videos with kids who are just discovering Madonna's music and they're doing like these watch videos, these reaction videos, and they're really getting into her impact on the culture. So, and not only her, but so many others. A lot of people that have come before them, the Pet Shop Boys, so many other artists, Michael Jackson. Like I love when a lot of the younger generation gets into Michael Jackson and all that other stuff. So oh yeah, her father's a piece of shit too. He started the Obama birth a lot. That and the fact that she said that her relationship is estranged with her father because she removed herself from Trump. And her father is a hardcore Trump supporter. Well, her father's a fucking idiot because I believe isn't he? But isn't she like Palestinian, Syrian? She got Arab blood running through her veins. So I don't understand how y'all be running behind Trump. Yep. What Sailor Mermaid says, Obama being president was the straw that broke the camel's back for white America. Sean Warren says, I love Kimby Tan. And, that's a good Miley Cyrus song. Lauren Hill, late ass Lauren. I went to see the Pet Shop Boys concert. How was that? I want to see the concert movie. Wait, where's that showing? Because I definitely want to see that. I know they do have a new album coming out. I did talk about that or I posted it on social media the other day that they have music. Okay, so let's get to our final Grammy thing because um I was like, what? Hold on. I just lost my damn story because just give me a second. Talk amongst ourselves. It was oh my god, I lost my Drake video. Well, no, I ain't playing that here, child, because I'm not getting this channel taken taken down. But oh yeah, so Drake basically okay, I got it. So apparently Drake threw shade at the Grammys, and then we'll get to the reason why I see a lot of y'all are in the let me stop being messy. Okay, so Drake tore into the 2024 Grammys just 2 hours before the biggest night in music kicked off at the Crypto.com arena. Can y'all change the name of that? Why y'all calling that shit Crypto.com? I guess because they paying for it in LA on Sunday. It says, all you incredible artists, remember the show isn't the facts. It's just the opinion of a group of people whose names are kept a secret. This is what he wrote on his Instagram stories. Literally, you can Google it. Congrats to anybody winning anything for hip hop, but this show doesn't dictate shit in our world. And Drake was nominated in the best rap album category, the same one that Killer Mike ended up winning. He also wrote the message over a clip of him giving an acceptance speech at the 2019 ceremony, during which he called into question the very need for a Grammy ceremony at all. Excuse me. We play in an opinion-based sport, not a factual-based sport, is what he said at the time. He said, it's not the NBA. This is a business where sometimes it is up to a bunch of people that may not understand that a mixed race kid from Canada what a mixed race kid from Canada has to say, or a brother from Houston right there, my brother Travis. You've already won if you have people who are singing your songs word for word, if you are a hero in your hometown, if there's people who have regular jobs who are coming out in the rain, in the snow, spending their hard-earned money to buy tickets to come to your shows, you don't need this right here. I promise you already won. Now, Drake was nominated for several Grammys this year via his 2022 album with 21 Savage, Her Loss. The project was nominated for Best Rap Album. Their song Rich Flex was nominated for both Best Rap Song and Best Rap Performance, and the track Spin About You received a Best Melodic Rap Performance nod. Now, what he said, I absolutely 1,000% agree with. To me, okay, the award is the bonus. It goes to show that those of you out there, my peers, y'all truly appreciate the music. You understand. What I remember hearing, because I remember, didn't Mathew say like a lot of people, or maybe have cut it off, before I got to that point because that video was just going on and on and on. I didn't want to have to play the whole damn thing. But anyway, so I think he said that you have people who are in the Grammy committee who they listen to maybe a minute of a song and they determine what is hip hop, what is pop, what is rock, what are these different categories. And to me, it's like that's some bullshit. First of all, I'm not going to have nobody sit up in here and determine in no TikTok moment, in a TikTok second, or whatever you want to call it, what is determined a specific of a what is of a specific genre and what we're going to categorize that as. That's some BS to me. So I don't like that. And the fact of the matter is, I do agree with Drake that, you know what, at the end of the day, there's been so many people like, look, Snoop Dogg has been nominated 17 times for a damn Grammy, never won one. There's been a lot of people out here who have been nominated so many times for Grammys and have not won. So I kind of look at it as like, you know what, at the end of the day, as long as you have an impact on the culture, as long as you got hundreds of thousands of people, or I should say thousands, because you can't fit hundreds of thousands of people into an arena, but you can fit at least a good 18 to 20 grand, thousand. If you got if you could sell out arenas or stadiums and you can move a culture and you can get people that have been going through some shit that were willing to scrape up $800 to come see you in concert and you give them the time of their life. To me, that is the most important thing over a goddamn award. Awards, okay. Like I said, icing on the cake. It shows that you appreciate me. But at the end of the day, that's not why I do what I do. But to me, I feel like if that's what you're here for, if all you're here for is to win a bunch of damn awards, then maybe you're in the wrong business. If that's your true goal. Like for me, like I said, it's about I'll use myself as example. Why I do what I do here is because I love having these type of conversations and I love speaking amongst the people in the comments who have different points of view. And it's like, you know what, I didn't see things that way before, but now I see where you're coming from with things. I just love that whole conversational type of situation and the fact that you can, like, words and things that you say can have an impact on people who are watching you, who appreciate what you do. And as long as I know that I'm good at what I do in my space, and those people continue to come back and appreciate the knowledge that I'm giving y'all based off of my experience of being in and out of this goddamn industry for as long as I've been in and out of this industry, then um that to me is more important. It's not always about having the millions of dollars and having a bunch of damn awards. Because awards is like, at the end of the day, you can't bury somebody with it. It's good to have on my mantle, but when I die, I can't be buried with a Grammy. If somebody found out my Grammy was, they probably dig my shit up and probably try to sell it on eBay. So I appreciate that what Drake said. We gonna get, speaking of Drake, we gonna get into the other thing in a second. Hold on, but we got some comments. Oh yeah, so that was funny. She said, "Don't act like you don't know the song, or I might have forgot my underwear." Yeah, Molly was a mess that night. It was the greatest hit show. Oh, well, look, those are the best ones. Got to give the people the hits. Play the Drake video. No, sir. I'm not playing that on here. First of all, if y'all look, before I will tell y'all where y'all can go see the Drake video. I'm not trying to get taken. I'm on YouTube. They will take my channel away if I show that on here. So play the Drake video. We want to see it, but we don't want to search for it. You won't have to because I'm gonna tell you where you can see it. Go to chrisavalon.com. It's in the comment. I mean, I linked it there. Madonna was snubbed for like a pre-era song, video, and album, but we all know why. But the minute she puts on her clothes in New Age, the recording because yeah, it was like y'all couldn't stand her when she was doing erotica and all that other stuff. She was a flash in the pan. She's a one-hit wonder. Y'all were putting all y'all eggs in Cyndi Lauper's basket, and my how the tides have turned. But at the end of the day, it's like once Madonna cleaned up her image a bit and did the whole Ray of Light era, then all of a sudden y'all was here for it. These award shows are just fake as they come. But we continue to come back like a child who's been abused by its mother. You hope that one day she'll change and then realize that she keep gaslighting us and playing in our face. All right, so let's talk about Drake's penis. Shout out to Drake's penis, I should say. Because, child, look, when I woke up this morning, I was not expecting to see Drake's long, dark peen on my bingo card. Yet here we are. So shout out to Hot 97 for this story. So they said Drake's name has been a big topic of conversation for more than a week, though the conversation about being considered hip hop after Yassine Bey's comments, saying out loud during a show that he no longer performs work and his comments about the Grammys. This morning, February 6th, Drake is trending for much more salacious reasons. The Toronto rapper is trending after an alleged video leak seemingly showed himself in the nude, enjoying some pleasurable time with himself. It is to be noted that the video has not been confirmed to be the rapper. Trust me, it's him. But that hasn't stopped social media from reacting. Drake is yet to comment on the alleged leak. Now, he made news this weekend for his comments, about the Grammys. We talked about it. So, for those of you who have not seen the video, it's basically Drake lying in bed with his camera. It's shaky a little bit, but it's like maybe a 17 to 20-second video. You can head over to chrisavalon.com. It's there in the link if you have not seen it. Hopefully it's still there, but it is trending on Twitter. And it is a link to a Twitter link. So hopefully it still works. It's still there. Y'all can see it. But it's literally a 20-second video of him holding his penis in one hand, the phone in the other. And like he dropped it in 1 second, he picks it up. He's got like a mirror in front of him. It seems like a lot of people got mirrors in their room. Or you see a lot of young boys doing that if y'all be watching enough of them videos on social media. Look at me spilling all my tea about the stuff I be watching on Twitter. But anyway, so the video is him holding up the phone and he's got his little floppy disk in his hand, his floppy Peen. It wasn't hard, and it's doing one of these numbers. So, excuse me. It's dark, it's long, on the skinty side for what I can see, but it's a nice piece. The thing that irritated me was the fact that there was a lot of size queens on social media trying to throw shade, talking about my dick is bigger. I was like, okay. Or I've seen bigger, whatever. I said, okay, listen, now I'm about to read some of you fucking bottoms. And I live for y'all, because if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't have nobody to stick my peen in. But y'all gonna stop trying to be size queens about here. We get it. A lot of y'all assholes as wide as the Lincoln Tunnel and the Holland Tunnel combined. Y'all want to sit up in here and throw shade at Drake's penis. What the hell y'all want? A goddamn beer can? Y'all want a baseball bat up your ass? Like, I don't get the whole situation with y'all throwing shade at his meat. His meat is his meat. He managed to get a kid out of it. It worked. And it to me, it's a manageable size. A reasonable size. I mean, I put my mouth on it. I'm trying not to be explosive. But look, child, Drake, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You got a pretty piece. I don't know if he let dudes suck on it. I mean, maybe he has. I wonder who leaked it. I mean, I did see somebody in the comments said it was probably Odell Beckham. Kim, you better check your man, allegedly. But look, it's a pretty piece. I'm not throwing shade at his dick. It's a nice piece. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that someone who's light skinned has it's dark down there. I mean, should I spill my own tea? I mean, quite as is kept, it seems like a lot of mixed race, light skinned children, such as myself, a lot of time when the pants come off and stuff, the meat do be dark between us down there. So I'll just say it like that. And let's move on. Ralph S. Nanan. Oh, so Ralph says it was the first thing I saw on X. Funnily enough, it wasn't the first thing on X that I saw when I logged in. A friend of mine sent it to me in the group chat. So he said, is this considered revenge porn? So I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? I click it open. I'm like, is that Drake? What am I looking at? So I gagged. And then I kept watching the video about 5 or 6 times. But look, I'm not gonna lie. It looks good, but I'm in solidarity with my sis Mick. What you talking about? What I miss? What did Meg say? Are you talking about whatever that line was that she said in his what was the line? She said a whole lot of shit. I was so enamored with the whole hug with Nikki that I don't remember what else she said in that damn album. Just like teen discovering what this nuh-uh. But yeah, it did come across very much like he just discovered it, like a 11-year-old who just that strand of puberty just hit and he's like, oh, So what is this thing down? Oh, I noticed I got a dick between my legs. Let's see what this thing doing. You start playing around and rubbing it a little bit, and all of a sudden this white shit come out and it freaks you out. What is that? Because remember back in the day, you used to always tell you masturbation was bad. That's what they would tell you when you were raised Catholic. You can't play with yourself, kid. Why the fuck not? That's my dick. It's between my legs. I'ma touch it if I want to. Why must Why must he be? Is Aubrey problematic though? I mean, based on, I guess, on all the other stuff, and medically. And here's the thing. This is another thing too, because I did watch this video the other day. There's been a lot of videos for some reason circulating regarding penises and size or whatever. People need to realize the average penis size, I believe, is 4 to 5 3/4. If you're bigger than that, you Gucci. But for the most part, an average penis size is like what Robert says, 4 inches. Y'all look at that as micro dick. Maybe that is. But for the most part, anything larger than 5 inches, you're good. So don't let these people run out here and tell you I got small dicks and all this other stuff. Maybe there's some people do. That's why I don't understand some of y'all that be wearing those chastity belts. Like I've been noticing a lot of bottoms that be wearing that, and now they look like nubs. Like there's a porn star by the name of Lock Thug. His dick looks like a thimble because he be wearing that damn thing around his waist. And he's a good looking boy too. But the fact of the matter is he's a bottom, so it doesn't matter. So, I mean, about his dick or whatever, because he ain't using it. It literally looks, he literally looks like a trans man with a giant clit. That's literally what his penis looks like. So, I don't understand a lot of y'all that wear that chastity belt thing. I guess is maybe for fetish reasons or whatever. But I think that wearing that it shrinks your meat. And look, I haven't had it. Me personally, I haven't had any complaints. So, I know what mine do. And like what Roro says, size is overrated. It is, because that's what I said. I said, what some of these girls, y'all want baseball bats up your ass? You know, that looks good if you're a porn star and y'all want to make that look aesthetically appealing on camera. But for the most part, most real bitches or real gay men, y'all ain't trying to mess around with that. Maybe you are when you in your 20s because you're trying to get used to some stuff. But the older you get, these girls ain't trying to get, they're not trying to have a asshole whistling when they walk. They're not trying to have that happen. So stop with the size queen stuff. Most size queens are super gay. That's why I said with the booty holes, I said because y'all asshole wider than the Lincoln Tunnel. So and then y'all booty holes is damaged. So y'all gotta get rejuvenated, bussy rejuvenation surgery. And or a lot of y'all booty holes look like that. A lot of y'all, some of y'all that y'all, it looked like that damn cut. That new that popcorn bucket that they got coming out for Doom 2. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. A lot of y'all booty holes be looking like that. Doom 2 got a new popcorn bucket that's coming out that I want. It looked like those aliens with the worms with the teeth. That's what it looked like. Rouse says a lot of people do forget that penis above the average is so abnormal. I learned that in medical school, and that's what it is. Oh, shout out to somebody. We got a medical person in the building. But that's another thing too, is that a lot of people really don't know about penis. Like, y'all look at something, y'all automatically because to the eye it looks small than it is. But I'm like, that's according to you. I'm like, what the hell you want? Like I said, a bat, a beer can. So the common big size is 7, and I'm told just stay there. Perfect size is not as painful. Well, call those husband dicks. Shout out to the husband dick. But yeah, Drake was in that bit. I don't know why, but I got hot and bothered when I was looking at it. I was like, oh, look at Drake in the bed with the legs spread, feet looking kind of. Okay, I do like boys. I do like guys with pretty feet, though. I will say that. But depending on my freak level, if I'm hitting it and that shit is good, your toes is definitely going in my mouth. I know this is getting a little too explicit for but look, sometimes it is what it is. But I don't know. That's a turn on, like seeing somebody like Drake with his legs spread. I kind of wish he was butt ass naked though. That's what I was kind of wishing. And then I wish that we could have gotten like some like a happy ending. Like I want to see an explosion. I want to. Does it drip out when he comes? Is he a shooter? Like, look, I don't know if y'all seen the video that came out a couple of years ago with David Boreanaz. I think I still have that on my phone, where he sent somebody a video of himself pleasuring himself. And I used to have a crush on Angel back in the day when I used to watch Buffy. And then when he released his own little sex video, and it was a full-on jerk-off fest. Face was up in the video and everything, and it was full ejaculation. So, can we get that from you next time, Drake? Just asking for myself. And then so does my 59-year-old man. Well, you got you a daddy? Let me find out. Shout out to the daddies. Are y'all watching For the Love of Dilfs on Out TV? If y'all not watching that, y'all definitely check it out. I know Victor, if you still in the building, I know his friend is on there. The only person I know from the show is Nick Mask because I hung out with him a couple of times when we were in LA. Like his whole entourage, whatever. I got to meet him. He's cool. I also, Bo Banks and all them was hanging out with him at the time. So that's the only one that I know from the show. Because when I lived there, it's funny, like when all the people you see, like the LA elites and stuff, the people who've gone on Drag Race, who've done on the gay reality shows and stuff, I had the opportunity to hang out with them because I lived in Silver Lake, which is not that far from West Hollywood. So I would take the trek into West Hollywood around that time. I kind of miss LA in that way. I just don't like the pretentiousness of LA. I might go back this summer for a visit. Guys Gone Wild Drake addiction. Didn't that get David in trouble with? It probably did. Oh wait, I don't know. I'm sure it did. Because who was he sending that video to? It wasn't her. She sees the dick all the time. So why would I need to make a sex video? Okay, so hold on, because we got two more topics left. Oh, let me pause that because Shannon Doherty had some tea to spill about Alyssa Milano. So yeah, there's some more charm drama. So we're gonna get into that. I honestly think he did it. I do not think. I don't think someone leaked the video. Like I made the joke about Odell Beckham. I think he leaked it himself. And what was alluded to earlier in the thing was they think it has something to do with what Megan Thee Stallion said. Um, wait, who made that comment? Was it Roro? There was somebody. Yeah, someone made a comment some earlier about the whole um with that. So I'm thinking that he may have had something to leak with that because maybe there was something in those lyrics for his that Megan said about him. So he's like, well, I'm gonna leak the video. But if you're gonna leak a video, can you make it you should have made it look a little more presentable. Like so that way we could get a good look at the meat. And it should have been some full on ejaculation. Not you just flopping around with your. I don't want to look at a floppy peen, but at least we know it works. About three of the daddies and dills live in New York. Did you go to the New York City premiere party? I didn't get to go, unfortunately. But if they have another party, I'm definitely gonna go check because I did see that they had like a little something something about it. And the fact of the matter is, Daddy TV follows me, who produces the show. So because I've been promoting a lot of their stuff, and so I need to go out and support their stuff because I like a lot of what they're producing over there. Okay. Well, definitely let me know. And it said, yes, we need 8K, not a struggle. And then Hollywood, So look, we gonna talk about that because the thing was, there's a video that came out where Shannon Doherty talked about the whole situation with her and Alyssa. She addressed it. Rose McGowan was there too, so we got that video, and Rose McGowan had something to say about it. But let's move on from Drake's penis and talk about. Wait, where are we? Jacob Elordi's penis. No, I'm joking. We can't talk about his penis because I don't know what it looked like. So Jacob Elordi, who is in Saltburn and a bunch of other stuff, including Euphoria, which I'm at this point. Can y'all just cancel Euphoria? I don't even care about Euphoria anymore. Y'all taking too goddamn long to film that series. It's kind of like I don't even care about Stranger Things, but even though I know they're filming it now, the final season. But if y'all decided to show the trailer, I already know I'll probably eat crow on this and be like, I'll watch it. So anyway, so Jacob Elordi is under investigation for allegedly assaulting a radio producer. in Australia. They said that it escalated on Saturday after the Colin Jackie O show producer approached Elordi for his bathwater, a reference to the movie Saltburn. Now, the police department in New South Wales, Australia, has launched an investigation after actor Jacob Elordi was allegedly involved in a physical altercation with Joshua Fox, a radio producer for the Colin Jackie O show on Kiss FM, Variety reports. According to Fox's own account of the incident shared during the show's most recent broadcast, he approached Elordi at a hotel in Sydney and jokingly requested his bath water to give to his co-star Jackie O. Not amused with the reference to the viral scene in Saltburn, one of Elordi's recent films, the actor allegedly asked that Fox delete the footage and refrain from filming him. I refuse to because I feel uncomfortable right now, and this is the only evidence, Fox said on the Colin Jackie O show. And then Jacob kind of just flips and kind of pushes me against a wall, and his hands are on my throat. According to a statement from New South Wales Police, shared by Variety, officers attached to Eastern Beaches Police Area Command are investigating that a man was allegedly assaulted outside a hotel in Sydney eastern suburbs. Police were told about 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, the 3rd of February 2024, a 32-year-old man was allegedly assaulted by a 26-year-old man. The man did not sustain any injuries. Inquiries to the incident is continuing. A rep for Elordi did not return Rolling Stone's request for comment. So, um, it seems they said that the incident seems as though it may be a tipping point for Elordi, who has had to endure references to his own bathwater since the release of Saltburn in November. And look, I think it all started because Jimmy Fallon did a segment on his show, The Tonight Show, where it was like they had a bathwater scented candle. But here's the thing. When you're on a talk show, you understand what that is. I'm sure they pre-interviewed him. They pre-interview everybody over there. So Jacob was aware that this bit was coming up and he was asked to play along because Jimmy Fallon doesn't like asking real legitimate questions when he interviews people on his show. What he does is he wants to play games and do little things because he always feels like it's awkward to really ask them questions about their personal lives, whatever the case is. So his interviewing style is a bit different. I don't particularly care for his interview style, but that's what he does. And if he likes it, I love it. So now it just seems like a lot of people are trying to jump into this whole bathwater situation and continue to make light of something that was a character choice that, was a part of the movie that he was in. And Jacob was probably feeling like, you know what, like this is annoying, this is frustrating. I'm not in the mood for this shit. I didn't know this was all gonna be happening. You're trying to ambush me in some type of situation with a camera phone and trying to do a whole little bit for the benefit of your radio show that I didn't even know this was gonna be a part of. So it could have been a consent thing that you have to ask for consent on with certain things or let me know what this situation is if you're willing to be game and play along. And maybe Jacob was going through a lot that day and didn't want to have that be a part of what he was doing. So there could be a lot of factors, excuse me, that played into that. Whereas, like I said, when he went on the other show, oh wait, I was like, what do I have open? I have something else open. Let me close that. Um, but when he went on the other show, he didn't have that issue. So there's that. So Jacob, I hope you don't end up getting locked up or having to pay a fine or whatever for but you can't be putting your hands on people out here. Otherwise, you have to pay the price for it. So let's see, we got some comments, and then we'll get to our charm story. Wilbur says Alexa play bathwater for Jacob Elordi. Is that the No Doubt song? All jokes aside, Jacob is proving he's uncomfortable with fame and probably going to do local Australian cinema just to be private. I do feel like maybe, you know what? I mean, I understand like some people just get into the business because they want to be actors, but they don't want all the other stuff to come with it. Unfortunately, he is someone who has got the typical Hollywood, tall, white, good looking. They're going to play that up. And that's going to be used to his advantage if he's going to want to continue to work in this business. I understand maybe he's probably trying to go the more Brad Pitt approach and trying to reject that type of vibe. But I don't know, unless you're willing to push away and stick to smaller movies, smaller independent films and do theater and that sort of thing, then I can understand that. But I know not a lot of people are equipped to want to handle this industry because it's not an easy industry to navigate. To international acts, the way we treat celebrities makes them uncomfortable. Mel B in the Spice Girl interview for going back home on the Spice World Tour says American fans say "I love you." Is that it could be the fan adoration in America is like unlike the fan worship in America is like none other. And then it said, but we don't know Mel B as a person, so how can we love her as a human being? Well, they love what they think they know about um the person that they're admiring. So that's what that is. Okay, so now let's get to our final topic, which is Shannen Doherty is speaking out about Alyssa Milano. Now we've been going back and forth with this whole thing. Shannen Doherty and Holly Marie Combs spoke out about what had happened behind the scenes on Charmed on the Let's Be Clear podcast. What was it, last month on Spotify. I listened to the whole thing and was thoroughly entertained. Then over the weekend, because it was a two-parter when they did it. Then over the weekend, Alyssa Milano went and said her piece. And now Shannen Doherty appeared at MegaCon in Orlando on Friday alongside Holly Marie Combs and Rose McGowan. So it was the other Charm sisters, minus Paige. So you had Prue, Piper, and Paige. That's who you had there at MegaCon. And so what it was back in December. That's what it was. And then Milano pushed back at the allegations during the Who's the Boss panel at MegaCon. So here's the thing. They were both in the same space, just in different, situations. So they both were at MegaCon. Interesting. But I'm sure they didn't run into each other. So Milano basically said, when we talked about it on the last show, she said she didn't have the power to get anybody fired. She threw it on Aaron Spelling and the studio. She said they're the ones that had something to do with it. And I think some comments from some celebrities who spoke out on Alyssa's behalf. We're going to get to that in a second. But for the most part, let me play y'all this clip of Shannen at MegaCon speaking out about what Alyssa said. Please hold. Let's roll this clip, child.
A lot of things have been said, and a lot have been very hurtful. I'm going to actually read something right now that I wrote last night for all of you. Holly and I, we were not mean on the podcast, my podcast, let's be clear. In fact, we went in and we edited out anything that we felt would cause more drama. We simply told the truth because the truth actually mattered. But we wanted to try to save you, the fans, from heartbreak as much as humanly possible. At this point in my life, with my health diagnosis, I'm sorry if I start crying, with fighting horrific disease every day of my life, it is also incredibly important to me that the truth actually be told, as opposed to the narrative that others have put out there for me. We told it together, we told our truth, and we are standing by our truths. There is no revisionist history happening in the truth that I know we told. There is no brush flinging or shoe flinging. There is no lateness to set. There is no mediator for months on end. I recall the facts as if I were still living in them. And what I will say is what somebody else may call drama is an actual trauma for me that I have lived with for an extremely long time. And it is only through my battle with cancer that I decided to address this trauma and be open and honest about it so that I could actually heal from a livelihood that was taken away from me, a livelihood that was taken away from my family because someone else wanted to be number one on the call sheet. That is
So, and then I ended up cutting it by accident because Rose McGowan actually had something to say. at the end. And she basically said, "We protected you for a long time. We've done it for as long as we could, all of us." And then she quoted Cat Williams by saying, "He has a wonderful saying, winners do not let losers rewrite history." And that's what she ended up saying, because once we got to Rose's part, the clip was going to actually cut. So I better just read it to y'all so that way y'all are aware of what was said. Now, there were some celebrities that I did see that popped up in the comments and had some stuff to say about it. Now, Holly Marie Combs' Instagram story after the convention basically posted something. I think it was a book, and it said, "Learning to love myself. Stop expecting honesty from people who lie to themselves." And it says Alexa Aubrey poetry. So I guess that was a shot fired at Alyssa. Then they said Brian Krause and Drew Fuller have unfollowed Alyssa Milano on Instagram. They're doing a podcast about charm with Holly Marie Combs and Shannen Doherty. So we should be able to hear from Brian Krause and Drew Fuller. Now I believe Brian Krause played the white lighter who, got with Piper, and then they wound up having a baby. I think Drew Fuller, didn't he play their son on the show? I think he played, I think he played the son. But then, you had Danny Pintaro, who, played Jonathan on Who's the Boss. Of course, he's Team Alyssa. He said, "So proud of you, sweetheart. Living in your truth is so healing." But the one I found interesting was that Misha Collins, who y'all may not know that name, but apparently, if y'all ever watched Supernatural, you know who Misha Collins is. Misha Collins played Castiel on Supernatural for, I don't know, there's been 15 seasons. So throughout the 15 seasons, he played that character. So he went to his Twitter, or it was on social media. I think it was Instagram. So he said this. He said, "My 2 cents. When I worked on Charm for one episode, I was so young and green as an actor that I didn't know what a mark was, and I didn't know what a blocking rehearsal was. I was a deer in the headlights, but Alyssa was patient and nice to me the whole time in spite of my obvious shortcomings. I do remember that there was some drama between the leads on the show, but I had no idea what was going on, and I certainly wasn't looped in. A couple of years later, I worked with Alyssa again on a pilot. We played siblings, and she did everything she could to make everyone feel comfortable on set and work to foster an environment where everyone thrived. I really don't know what happened on Charmed, but I know my experience with Alyssa has been nothing but positive. I will also say one more thing. The intense expectation and power experienced by young stars, which all three sisters were on Charmed, doesn't always bring out the best in anyone. People in their 20s are really not emotionally equipped to handle the success and pressure. 25 years later, no one should be doing anything but forgiving and moving on." And Alyssa responded by saying, "You are the best in this. No one should be doing anything but forgiving and moving on. I completely agree." So it just seems like to me that Alyssa is ready to move on. She says that, you know what, at a point in my life where I've moved way beyond Charmed, the trauma, the drama, all the other stuff that has gone on. But here's the thing. You may have been able to move on from the trauma, the drama, because you're still working. Whereas I haven't really seen or heard much of Holly being in anything since Charmed, and Shannen as well. I know she's been dealing with a lot of her medical stuff, and a lot of them have been off doing their thing wherever, the situation is. Maybe they have been working since Charmed, but it hasn't been anything I've been remotely interested in following or wanting to know anything about. And that's just no shade. I'm just saying. So, um, people are going to remember their experiences differently. And so I feel like at this point, unfortunately, you're just going to have both sides are going to have to agree to disagree. Now, I will be curious to hear Brian Krause and Drew Fuller and what they have to say on the show and their experiences. I mean, did Alyssa and Brian date at one point? I'm wondering. I could have sworn that at one point she did date her co-star on the show. So some people probably be like, "Oh, he being bitter because they dated once upon a time. So of course he gonna be team this one." Whatever going on in their personal life, that's their business. If he wants to spill that tea, then he'll be able to do that. But to hear everyone else's experiences, like to me, I do feel like it does hurt the legacy of the show. That is a show that I grew up watching and loving and still love. Because I do watch Charmed. It is on Prime Video if y'all want to watch and live nostalgic and watch a lot of old shows. Like I said, I've been doing that a lot lately. I think a lot of people have been kind of going back to feeling nostalgic and watching a lot of old shows that they grew up on. And so I'm and currently in my 90s era, living those moments. And I I love Charmed. So hearing these behind the scenes stories on the things that have transpired, I think anybody curious, and it's good grist with my mill, but anybody remotely curious about what had happened in that past, I think we'd all be genuinely curious to want to know what happened behind the scenes. I mean, it's not going to take away from me watching the show, knowing full on what would happen, because it's like the acting is the acting and the chemistry is there. So I'm not someone who's just going to be like, well, I can't watch Charm because I know these broads don't like each other in real life. But if you got all the cast sitting up here saying stuff about Alyssa, then maybe she was the problem. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, Alyssa had success in her own right, and she did a lot of TV movies. She did a lot of those Skinamax type films. She was in the same vein as like Drew Barrymore coming up in that time. So with that and then the success of Charm, there's some people that feel like, you know what? Alyssa was the biggest star. So why am I playing the younger sister? I mean, not the younger sister, but why am I not the bigger star, even though I am the younger sister? Because here's the thing, remember, once upon a time, they will tell you, Alyssa was not the first choice to play Phoebe. They had another actress, but because of religious reasons, she was asked to drop out, which is why they brought Alyssa in. So she wasn't even the initial first choice. But then when she became part of the show, that's when, the show became a hit. They started saying things. And like Misha said, when you're someone in your 20s, you don't have the ability, the equipment, you're not equipped to be able to handle a lot of the pressures of being a young star in a position of power. There's going to be a lot of that nasty diva energy. But when you're older, once you're in your 40s, when your late 40s, your 50s, and so once you get to that period, then there a bit of maturity sinks in. You would hope. So good luck to you, ladies. I'm sure this story is not going to go anywhere anytime soon because I'm sure I'll still be talking about it on here. Because I just hope the back and forth between Alyssa and Shannen is done. But like I said, when they decided to all do the podcast together, Drew and Brian, I'll definitely be listening to that, and then we'll talk about it on the show. Okay, so that was our final topic, but we do have some comments. So let's get to those, and then we will get out of here. Okay. Victor says Jacob has 3 new movies coming out. He has 5 films that came out last year. He was probably exhausted. It could be because it's like he is the go-to actor at the moment. Not everybody wants Jacob Elordi. Jacob Elordi is basically the it guy in Hollywood right now. Him and Barry Keoghan, between the both of them. And I like them both, but they're the it stars now. They're being courted for everything. Jacob is about to play Frankenstein in Guillermo del Toro's new Frankenstein movie. So he's gonna be busy with that. And at this point, like I said, I think it's time for Euphoria to sashay away. Like everybody has become so busy for that franchise. Sydney Sweeney's working. Although, girl, I feel bad for you because that Madam Web movie is going to flop hard at the box office. Nobody cares about that film. If you all actually go and look up tickets for the movie, the tickets are not selling. First of all, the trailer looked terrible. And I said, y'all gonna have another Morbius on your hands. Fox, y'all in danger, girl. Sony, not Fox, Sony. Sony, you in danger. Because I don't like any of these little side superhero movies. None of them. All the ones y'all released, I did not like. I didn't like I did not like any of the Venom movies. Hated Morbius. Don't really care for, oh my God, why am I always forgetting the name of that damn movie that's supposed to come out with Aaron Taylor Johnson? Craven the Hunter. I don't particularly care about that movie. I mean, if it comes out, I'll watch it when it pops up on a streaming service, but that is not like something that I'm rushing to get a pre-ticket for. Now, I am looking forward to Dune 2. And Zendaya's about to be busy with that. And then they're talking about they're going to film a Dune 3. So she's going to probably be busy with that. Y'all not going to get a new season of Euphoria until 2028. By that time, the cast is going to be in their damn 40s. And we're not going to give a damn no more. So just get rid of the show. You had a good run. It was cute. I feel like most people have moved on with their lives onto other shows. And it seems like to me the actors are ready to move on. Like I said, with Sydney Sweeney, but girl, like I said, that movie you got with Madam Web, I don't think it's gonna do anything for you creatively and for your career. Doom 2 is what Zendaya's got coming out, so she's good. Jacob Elordi's got a bunch of movies coming out, like Victor says, and plus he's about to film some more stuff. So he's a pretty busy kid right now. You'll never get Alyssa and Rose in a room. The videos I found, all the guest stars, females and males, called the set toxic as hell, as the women were always fighting and making it uncomfortable. Even after Shannen left, it was still toxic because of Brad Kern, who should have been fired for having a hand on what the environment he helped create. Well, yeah, Brad Kern was definitely the problem. Thank you. Brian dated Alyssa in real life during Charmed and was very odd. He guest starred in Charmed. Mm, um, he was also on. You know what? Brian Krause was also. Who am I thinking of? He's the one that played the White Lighter, right? Leo. Yeah. So one of the things about him is that I loved him in Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. That was another movie I love because I love that and the fact of the matter how they use Enya's song in the song as the theme song for that movie, and then they ended up using that song, Enya's song, as a sample. Look at me getting all musical historical with y'all. A sample of the Fugees' "Ready or Not." Bam. Okay, so 13 TV shows and 15 movies. Holly did Pretty Little Liars. Rose retired because we know why, and Alyssa's husband is the reason why. Mm. And that was a problem Shannen had. Shannen had a brief role on Riverdale on the CW, and it was the episode. Oh, and then we lost Luke Perry in real life. Oh yeah, there was a point I had stopped watching Riverdale because I got tired of the queer baiting. I just felt like a lot of the CW shows just wasn't giving me what needed to be given. So I think what it was, I outgrew the CW. I outgrew their cheap effects, their tacky ass, shiny ass costumes, and the low budgetness of it all. So I kind of outgrew the whole CW situation, and I think I started graduating to streaming. Will remember Alyssa and Drew Barrymore both did movies playing Amy Fisher, and they both did a Poison. Exactly. So that's why I compared a lot of their careers because Alyssa and Drew were kind of following in the same footsteps in regards of a lot of the straight to cable Skinamax type of straight to video movies back in those days. It was always straight to video. But like a blog I followed said, Shannen history on 90210 was unfortunately used against her that led to the firing, and Aaron Spelling gave her a chance as she blew it as usual. And that's what you can do is give people a chance before they fuck it up. They need to stop trying a Spider-Verse without a Spider-Man. Without Spider-Man, why create a universe? Because they're trying to create they're trying to create their own cinematic universe. And in my opinion, it's just not working with Sony, which is why I think they just need to quit while they're ahead. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Why I think about they continue to do this because it's not working. I know some people like the Venom movies. I particularly it's not my zhuzh. I've given it a chance. I've watched the movies more than once to make sure like I like it. I'm like, am I really sure that I don't like these films? No, I'm sure. And so when I watch, so basically, if ever Venom is on or whatever, it's just background noise while I'm working on my website and stuff. So there's that. And then Sleepwalkers, that weird Stephen King movie, Coppa Cobb and Shishka Cop. Trying to say that sounds fast. Oh yeah, I hated the corn on the cob scene where she stabs him in the ear. I'm like, not even possible. But nevertheless, it was a good movie. I do love that movie. Alice Cridge, that's my girl. She'll always be the board queen. Let me go over to my website because I'm nosy, because I know y'all a bunch of damn perverts. I want to see how many people viewed that Drake situation since we've been on the air. 1,506 views. Y'all some damn perverts. But look, I appreciate the traffic because it definitely helps with my website. First of all, it definitely helps with the website that when with the views or whatever, because then I get the analytics at the end of the month. So it definitely helps. So yeah, so far 1,506 views. I remember when I first posted the video the article in 2 minutes, I kid you not, it was already at like 300 views. I'm like, well, goddamn. And I think it's maybe because it's making it easier for people on social media to be able to find the direct link instead of having to search for it. Because I know that's what Victor said. He was like, I don't want to have to look for it. Well, child, like I said, go to chrisavalon.com and have a gander. But anyway, so we're at the end of the show. Thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Now, before you all go, do yourselves a favor and me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button so that way you will know when we go live with a brand new stream or a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I also want to thank those of you who were chiming in on the comments, including Robert, Felix, Victor. Sailor Mermaid was in the building. We had Ralph in the building. We had RHOA. It was a lot of people. So, yes, thank you all for tuning in. Love you all for watching. I love you for supporting the show, and I appreciate you all, even though a lot of people, I hope I say it every damn episode. But yes, I do appreciate y'all because y'all definitely you're helping out this show a lot, especially when it comes to the algorithms. A lot of people who are discovering the show and telling me how much they love the show and all the energy and effort that I put into this show, because it is not easy to put a show together, child. Especially when you're doing this all by yourself. When you're producing, when you're putting together the topics, when you got to put all the headings, when you got to pay attention to the live comments and all the other stuff. That's why I say it's an interactive show. Thank God I have ADD, so I can be just be everywhere, just navigating it all. I could do it because it's been done and it's been proven. So yes, once again, thank you all. Love you all for watching, and until next time, ciao, darlings.